Sig, I put that story to the McDonald's killing in the chat.
Okay, cool.
If anybody want to go and watch the video of the girl explaining her reason why she stabbed her.
Jay, if you want to talk to the stage, you got the mic.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Sig. Yeah, I came in kind of probably on the tail end of that. That's not the first time I've heard that particular individual yelling on this app. I mean, she's not the only one, obviously, but someone had mentioned something about being provoked. That's a cop-out, and that's bullshit, right? We're all adults. We should be able to control ourselves and conduct ourselves in a manner that is respectful. I also agree that she probably doesn't have a man there, because I know my husband would have grabbed my motherfucking phone, okay? So there's absolutely no man there that I could definitely, I don't know if he's at work or like you saying, he just comes on the weekend, but yeah. And I also agree with Adrian about feminism. I'm not a feminist. I think feminism really did ruin a lot of women. It made women believe that they're the same as men, and we're absolutely not. Men are their own type of species. They're great. Women are great when you got a great woman. And so I think it's caused a lot of delusion for women to think that they're men. And I don't know about y'all, but I would not want to be a man. Being a man is hard, right? You got to deal with all the bullshit out there. Like you were saying, the first responders, y'all go in a lot of high stress situation. I'd much rather be a woman and, stay at home and cook and, make sure everybody's happy and do my thing. So shout out to y'all. That's all I got to say.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, man. See, this is what I say. Not all. There are some wonderful black women like Dr. Goddess, like Jay. There's several of them that we interact with. So it's not all, folks. What it is there's just the loudest, squeakiest wheels are the ones that get all the attention. And they make black women look bad, man. And unfortunately, a lot of them, like I said, not the majority aren't on the wild extreme end of the spectrum, but the majority do have the attitudes of Tory. The majority of them fucking do, and it's a fucking problem. And this is what's causing the black community in America to break down. Again, this is why our families are broken, our homes are broken. We don't have any fathers. We don't have any, and it's time for black women to start taking accountability. To say, hey, you know what? Maybe it is a problem that I'm laying down and procreating with men who haven't committed to me, who haven't proven to me that they want to be my husband and they want to be a great father to my children. Maybe I do have some responsibility to, at least not procreate with them. Not saying you gotta abstain from getting dick. It's 2025, women are getting dick now. It is what it is. But at least be smart enough and wise enough to not attach yourself to that man for the next 18 to 20 years of your life. That's all we're asking for. Just a little bit of accountability. And maybe if the attitudes and the combativeness drop down to an acceptable level, you might see that marriage rate spike and get to 50% to where the Indian women, the Mexican women, the Asian women, the Native American women, they might be the white women. They might be able to hit that 50% threshold where all the other groups of women are. Right? So.
Well, here's the biggest issue. The ears is two ears in one mouth, right? And when you're trying to even attempt to articulate, even ask a question, like I do like that Adrian continues asking that question about are you also talking about the men in your family or the women in your family? Because it gets very daunting when you say black man, and it's like, okay, but you're not talking about your own, right? You're talking about everybody else, but not the people that raised you and put you out into the world, and now you have children, and this is what you're doing in front of the baby. And the baby is now going to think this is okay. This is why all the screaming is happening in the background, because you don't tame yourself and you can't tame the child. So I'm just saying, like, the single motherhood is a disease. Sorry, but not sorry. It's this. I think that's the next wave of the feminism, the single motherhood syndrome, the pretty privilege syndrome. They do want and respect I do think that Black women want to be married. I do think that they want men in the home. I do think that they want y'all help. Here's the problem. They're caught up in this independent act. Okay? The independent act is a play game, again, to overshadow these daddy issues, but then it's getting bigger than the daddy issues now because, again, I expressed that yesterday. A Black woman expressed that the accountability will only take place when Black men and the world take account for the things that they've done to Black women. And I'm just scratching my head, like, so what do you like? Do you want us to write a law? Do you want to do you want a parade? Like, I don't know what they want people to do because prejudice and racism and pushback and discipline and order, all these things are they're part of being a human. So like it's a part of the world is where we at. So I don't know what extra special toot beep beep train, or I don't know if they want a car. I don't know what they want. So maybe we should ask them and find out what do they want to take place in this accountability that they feel Black men are responsible for.
So, in most cases, when two unions negotiate with each other, it's usually a point of, this is what I'm offering, right? And this is what you're getting. That's usually going to go. When it comes to this whole conversation about these single, I can make it for the ones that keep connected to the top of the call. They don't want to negotiate. They don't want time. They want to be given something so they can control it. That's what they want. They want control. And once I figured this out about like I say 2018, that's when I was decided, okay, I'm not going to deal with anyone I discover or come across that wants control. Because I know what control does. You have every single piece of history to show you what absolute control does. When students have it. So me personally, I wish you the best of luck finding it. If you show up to me and say, this is what I need to do, I'm going to tell you, okay, so what you're giving me is whatever I want. But that's not fair. So I'm not going to waste my time. That's what they want. So this is bad.
Yeah, he's right. It's about absolute control and revenge. It's about getting back. It's I feel slighted, and I'm not gonna feel at peace until I get back and I show these motherfuckers who I feel have wronged me that I can get back at them and have that leverage and control. So Isaac's absolutely 100% right. These women don't realize they're stabbing themselves in the foot from the very fucking beginning, man. The attitudes they have, like even on the dating websites, man, like you notice the difference in attitude between the Black women and the non-Black women when you're looking at these profiles. Immediately, the Black women start off with contempt. It's my degree, my education, my job, my businesses. That's consistently what you see listed on these profiles. And then you go to the other races of women, it's, oh, I love my pets, I love to cook, I love spending time with my family. Even the pictures on the profiles I notice consistently. Black women are in bathrooms taking selfies. Ass is always poked out. There's rarely any pictures of these women with men doing activities, family activities. You look at the white girls, you look at the Hispanic girls, they got pictures with their brothers, 4th of July cookouts, barbecues, on the lake, on the beach, smiling, holding a fish in their hand because they're out on the boat, having a great time. These women, I think mentally, these women are so fucking hardened and have this heavy suit of fucking armor on because in their mind, they have to fight the world. And I think a lot of these women, especially the 70% single mother rate, they're literally operating like a man. They're out here working, protecting, and providing, and taking care of an entire fucking household. So these women have become hardened, and they don't realize that that's a persona that they give off, and it instantly comes across as unattractive to the type of men that they're going for. And then this builds more anger and builds more fucking resentment. They just get worse and worse and worse as they go on to where these women sound like Danielle and they sound like Tori.
He said,
What's up, Dr. Long?
is there also a weight problem going on?
Oh yeah. We talked about that. Yeah, we were talking about that about 30 minutes ago, bro. Yeah, the most obese, and her thing was, well, black men are the most obese out of the fucking men, but freaking
JB read a stat.
yeah, JB. No, it wasn't JB. It was who was it? Uncle Ruckus. Uncle Ruckus said that if you actually look at the stats, yeah, black men are higher, but it's so negligible. But if you look at the difference between black women and their counterparts and their peers, they are skyrocketed through the roof. They are several points above. As far as being the most obese. And again, everything that could be fixed in our community as far as black women taking accountability. Because as a black man, if you've been in these rooms and been in these discussions, black men will tell you, yeah, there's some ain't shit niggas, there's some fuck niggas out here, and there is some cleaning up that we need to do amongst black men. We'll take the accountability and we'll look at each other and say, yeah, we can do better. We can do some better. But whenever you try to point out some constructive criticism to black women, and again, not all, you almost always get pushback, and it's everybody else's fault.
Absolutely.
Can I say something about the obesity?
Yeah. Go ahead, Jay. Oh, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I wanted to say something about the obesity with black women. I think also that has to do with an aspect of feminism, because I think with feminism, as we know, what the whole agenda was, right? It was to get the man out the home. Well, to replace that man, they decided to give out food stamps, right? And now these fast food restaurants will allow you to use your motherfucking food stamps there. So it seems a lot easier, if they don't want to cook, right? They don't want to be traditional women. Of course, they're just going to go to a drive-thru and just grab up McDonald's or whatever the heck. And that's contributing to the obesity. And another thing with the fast food as well, that has a lot of chemicals and hormones that mess with all of us, but women especially too. And that's another reason why I think a lot of black women and just women in general who go and eat that, they have these attitudes and they have these moods. It's the food they're putting in their body as well. So I just wanted to speak on
You're
that.
talking about the you buy we fry places. They charge like $1. They will fry your food for $1
Yep.
and use your EBT card.
Yep. Also, here's another thing to look at. Sig, I noticed when you was talking about family photos and stuff. Other women will be with other members of their families in their family photos. I mean, y'all, we gotta admit, how many times have we seen on social media black mothers having family photos with no father in them, right? It's always her and her kids all day long, right? Every time they go and do a family photo, the father is nowhere in the picture. And if he is, that's a rarity, and that motherfucker get praised. But a lot of times, it's just the mother and her 3, 4, 5 kids, however many kids that she got, right? Like, that needs to stop, because it shows the level of prioritization in our lives, is that it shows that women rather have baby showers than bridal showers. They rather carry before marry, right? They put a lot of emphasis on being baby mamas and not wives, right? And a lot of women come in these rooms on this app. How many times have you heard a woman brag about how many times she's been engaged, but never crossed the finish line though, right? I got men proposing to me all the time. Yeah, but how many have you said yes to? How many times have you crossed the finish line? She can't answer that question. She can tell you how many times she's been in the race, but not crossed the finish line. That is crazy to me. That's not the flex that you think it is. When you brag about how many times you've been engaged, but never crossed the finish line. All right, and it shows a lack of self-awareness in our community, especially with our women. Also, with the obesity thing. See, another thing that you mentioned, the education, right? Black women, we know, yes, y'all are the most educated. And y'all also will use those degrees and stuff like that as a cudgel to beat men over the head with, right? Y'all would try to use these degrees to look down on men and try to silence men. Well, I went to school, right? I got a degree, blah, blah, blah. All right, so answer this question. If you're the most educated, then how come you're the most manipulated? Then you got all of this education, but you can't tell when a motherfucker's manipulating you though.
Right, right. Yeah, good point.
You got all of this education, right? You went to school to be a dietitian. How come you can't address your weight problem?
No, it's true, bro. It's fucking true, and that's why they did tout that black women are most educated, this and that. But once that got debunked and cracked wide open, we come to find out you're not graduating, motherfucker. Again, it's a finish line thing, Adrian. We found out what you ain't graduating. You're the most enrolled. But they took that to again use it as leverage over black men to beat black men over the head. Say we're the most educated. We're the most educated to again put them at a higher status. It's about control and it's about givebacks. It's about trying to be better.
And so the degrees are in social science and early childhood education.
Criminal justice.
Wrong taker, they collect the race. They collect the race like Lord of the Rings. They just collect it.
Right. What's that? What's the ass wiping nurse? And a lot of them don't even become RNs.
CNA.
CNA. Yep. A lot of them. Yep. They stop at CNA. So they're professional ass wipers getting paid $13 an hour.
And why are they getting criminal justice degrees, like, to get their relative out of jail? What? I have not heard that. I'm not going to get stat.
I mean, CJ degrees. I mean, if you're gonna go to CJ, if you're gonna be like, if you're gonna go into parole, stuff like that, cool. But most of them don't even go into that because they're gonna get their ass whooped, so they stay away from it.
Well, I think the point is that the point that we're making is that there's a lot of starting and not finishing, right? We're getting to the engagement and not to the actual marriage, and right, and the point of getting to the finish line is to start a new race with that individual, like a baton, passing the baton type of race. But the issue is we're not being transferred. Like, when you're married, when you go through the marriage, and I'm not talking about, not even bringing up the religious or the law portion of it. I'm just going to the aspect of family, right? The father or a male figure in your family that you respect is supposed to pass you on, right? He's supposed to give you away to your husband. I think this is also creating an issue because women are not being given away to the next leader. It's a baton pass, and it's a whole conversation that's being had. So when we, even go into what Sister J is saying about the feminism, the different waves that Black women have entered, and respectfully, I personally don't think that that's anything to do with us. We just need to back all the way the fuck out that shit because I'm not seeing where we don't have right to speak. I'm not seeing where we don't have right to be. All I'm seeing is that we don't want discipline. We don't want order. We want to be chaotic. We want to be all over the place. We don't want to be told we're wrong. We just don't want to hear. You gotta get in line you gotta get in line if you want good things. You do have to put on a certain act, and the things that we're assimilating to are not uplifting us as a whole. And it's always about the individual gender and not the whole race.
I like that. I like it.
Another point that I've been noticing. So when you have a group of Black men talking about their dating Black women, they usually bring up, I don't really see a lot of qualities she has to be a mother or a wife, things like that. And sometimes sometimes what they say is valid, other times it's kind of like, it sounds like a you problem. Then when you hear the woman talking about their issues, notice one thing. It's never about what particular problem that the man brings up. It almost seems like they're looking for men that are more female or feminine today. And that's what their issue is. So they don't really have an issue with who they are as a person. They just have an issue with, he wasn't nice or had a softer tone or something like that. And it's like, but he's a scammer. Or, my mom didn't like the way that He planned out his life, or certain ways he acts, I just don't like. I'm like, but there's nothing wrong with the way he acts. He just might be a bit aggressive. The thing another thing with black women, when they complain about a lot of issues, some of them, they're more talking about how the guy is not feminine or soft in their life, rather than any actual problem. Anyone else notice that?
Yeah, they did that to me all day yesterday in Rich's room. I literally
I said I need to get out the bathroom.
they did that to me yesterday all day yesterday. They literally bullied me and did not speak to any point that I was saying. So it's not just you, Isaac. It's not just men. It's anyone who wants to ask questions of logic, sensibility. Like if you're trying to have any conversation that is opening up the mind to let them look at themselves in the mirror, it immediately turns. Adrian just said it, the accountability. If a person is not ready to hear or look into their own lives or see that it is spewing out into reality and creating people's actuality, then it's going to seem like an attack every time. They're not going to speak to any point that you're actually bringing up to have a conversation. So, literally, it's not just you; it's across the board.
People have a tendency of when you hold up a mirror to them and show them exactly who the fuck they are, instead of them addressing what they see in the mirror, they rather talk about the dirt underneath the fingernail of the hand that's holding the mirror. That don't matter.
Ooh, that's a bar.
For real.
Don't matter.
Yeah,
They talk about shit that don't fucking matter. That's not the issue. Who gives a fuck about address what's in front of you first. Let's have a conversation. But motherfuckers don't want to do it because, like I say, accountability will always seem like an attack to those that are not ready to face the consequences of their actions, man. I'm gonna keep saying this shit. I'm gonna keep fucking saying this shit because it's true, man. And accountability is not gender specific. This shit is universal. This shit crosses all racial lines, all goddamn gender lines, right? It applies to anyone. But motherfuckers rather talk about ancillary bullshit and try to become a landscaper and move the goalposts from this end of the field to that end of the field to shit that don't fucking matter. Nah, that's not what we talking about. Let's talk about the shit that's right here in front of you first. But they don't want to do it.
All right, you hear me better now?
it's a little bit better. Yeah, I think you got Bluetooth in, so it's
It's way better. It's way better.
But it is better.
What I was asking is, does it seem like a lot of black women are looking for men that have more feminine traits rather than who they are in person?
No, what these black women, specific types of black women are looking for is Tupac in a business suit, a corporate Tupac. They want the thug aspect, the masculine aspect, but then they want him to come with the freebie lifestyle where they can just literally just sit back on their ass, not have to do shit, and shop and go to boutiques, and they don't want to have to put in the fucking work. But then they also want another aspect of this man to bow down and acquiesce to everything that they want. So they want him to be masculine when it's convenient for them, but they still want to be able to control and call the shots with these men, and these men do all the work and take care of all the shitty parts in life while they get to enjoy the benefits of what his work is. That's typically what I'm seeing on these dating websites. When you listen to these dating shows, think about the clip we just played earlier. That woman was an escort, an active escort with 11 kids. And what does she want? She still wanted a man that made six figures. She said she preferred if he was a millionaire.
I agree with Isaac. Yes, because they are raising these effeminate males. So I agree with you.
And how are they raising these effeminate males though? Like when you look at it,
Because there's no male figure, no masculine man. They raising these punk boys.
well, no, but how are they raising them? KP, look at these son husbands that are very common in the black community.
And that's what I'm saying, they're effeminate.
Well, no, but hear me out. Listen to me. Listen to me. Look at how they act. Whenever they get disrespected, who are the first ones they want to jump up and defend their honor? It's these fucking boys. But then they want these boys to cow down whenever they get pissed off and upset.
And that's why they're feminine. Because a man will say, hey, you're wrong, sit your ass down. You're not gonna risk my life because you're loudmouth ass.
That mother-husband thing's a real thing. One of my friends is, I've been, for years, you know what I'm saying? I remember when his dad left or they divorced or split up or whatever. I can remember that. And like after that, bro, my homeboy became his mom's boyfriend. She got mad if she didn't get no gifts on holidays, Valentine's days. Hey mom, I wanna, we gonna go out of town. Well, you gonna miss this, and I want you to be. I used to be like, bro, like we used to talk about it, and to this day, he can't shake it. But then when he get with women, he's like, he can't keep a girl, and this nigga, he can't keep him from cheating on him or nothing. And he's a good dude. I'm talking about good heart, red straight. Credit, everything you would think a motherfucker would want. My boy got it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. It's something about when that daddy leave, bro. It does something crazy. And this is what we're dealing with. I think a lot of the women they don't want. You hear him say shit like, we want to cut our brains off when we go out, and like it's like the most ridiculous requirements. You know what I'm saying? From some of the like people that just come on.
So can I just say one thing about the accountability part, and that is that I believe that it is a parental problem. I don't know if you've ever been out and about or maybe within your family where you will see a black mother with her child, whether it's a boy or girl, whatever, and they will make a mistake, they'll spill something, whatever it is that they do, and the penalty for that mistake is so severe. Like I've seen little black children get punched, cursed out, smacked up, like for something really minor. And so it becomes a problem in their lives. They're not loved when they make a mistake. And so as they get older and they are clearly making mistakes, because we all do, the first thing that they want to do is deny, right? They don't want to accept the responsibility because in their lives, any mistakes that they've made, big or small, has come with such severe punishment. I think that there's a problem there that has not been addressed, and it's coming from their childhood and how their mothers are treating them.
It's actually also from the dislike of the father and the man that was chosen. So it still goes back to the accountability of the woman. Women are doing this thing. You want the autonomy. You want to have full control of what you do, where you go. How you dress, everything. And again, not allowing fathers to be present, whether you want to co-parent or not, or whatever the case may be. Being upset at the father and not allowing the father to be present with the child, regardless of how you feel about the man, is what's causing the breakdown. Mothers are disliking fathers because of the choice she made, and then abusing the child in public, and now the child is going to turn into a social anxiety, feminine gay boy who doesn't know which way or whatever, or even because like it's so respectfully, I'm gonna drop this last little piece. Look up Trevor's project, because Trevor's project is the result and equation to what you're talking about, Thunder. The children not being helped through and built up and putting confidence in, especially young black men. They are not seeing fathers. They're not seeing examples. They don't have uncles, brothers. They don't have men around them to show them how to really chop wood and go play basketball and do stuff that boys are supposed to go do. Jump off a tree and scrape your knee or something. Not put on nails and women's heels and strut around like this is. It's a very terrible opposition. So again, I'll say it. Single motherhood is a disease because it's diseasing our boys, and I want boys to be boys, not tuck their pee-pees underneath their legs. And this is what Trevor's project is about. It's about they're literally promoting that all children are okay. They're saying all children are trans. Really quick.
One thing.
Just really quick. They're
But I want to piggyback off of Dr. Thunder. There's a lot of black boys that get beat off by their mother, and the first thing that comes out that woman's mouth, you look like your black ass daddy. It's like, what? I hear a lot of young boys say that. They've been spanked, and the first thing to come out that woman's mouth, you look like your black ass daddy. Crazy.
And you have to really look at like the root cause of that. You know, it all stems back from slavery. People like to say that's just an excuse, but honestly, you know, even scientists have recently confirmed that memory is genetically ingrained. It's not just the short and the long-term cognitive ability of the mind, right? And we see the effects of it still to this day. Like why would a mom say that about the child who looks just like her? It all stems from that institution where the black woman who worked hand in hand with white supremacy, you know what I'm saying, enacted the law. They were in charge of a lot of the, you know, positions when it came to the field hands because, as is said in the Willie Lynch doctrine, you know, you would control the man through the woman. You know what I mean? Yes, it's the fact.
Go ahead and finish, but let's break this down. Go ahead and finish it. We're gonna break this.
Right. And then, you know, it even shows to me just like the mentality. Everything that you guys have said, it's fact stems from that. Like, why would a black man, a man that looks like you, have to go through these hoops and hurdles, have to make six figures, be obedient to your will, yet be masculine when you want him to be? Meanwhile, you can go to a white man who has literally everything in the opposite direction, and you'll bow to him, obey his every command, whether it's sexual or, you know, anything thereof, and there's no talk back. There's no conflict whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? Like this just happens out of a vacuum? No, it's because of the fear of God that they instilled in the black woman for hundreds of years, right? So for a black man, because their mind has been genetically warped through those hundreds of years of liberal conditioning, right? For a black man to even have half the value of a white man of no value, he has to have that for them to even in their mind think that it's okay for me to date you because you're not worthy of a superior race. That's the break. That's the program.
Okay, let me help you out, brother. Let me help you out. There's no such thing as Willie Lynch. That was all a lie. So you can kill that argument.
No, I don't need help. That's a known doctrine that's been around for some
No, sir. That's a lie.
That's a fucking lie, man. It's not true.
That's not true at all.
Google it, bro.
If you look at the language, how it's written, you did not speak at that time. No certain individual ever wrote in New Age English. That's bullshit. How it got disproven.
Yeah, thank you, doctor. I mean, clearly, you know, some people do like to defend that institution. You know, there really is a divide within the black community between light and dark skin for a reason. That didn't happen.
Before you go into the light skin versus dark skin, let's go back to what you originally said. Let's break this down.
Yes.
Your statement and your stance was the abusive language coming from black single mothers being perpetrated onto their children comes from slavery. I would like to correct you on that. That is not true. We have a shit ton of video footage, photos. Black women weren't acting like that. Our great-grandmothers did not act like that. Our great-grandmothers, the black grandmothers, were some of the most feminine women you can come across, bro. Ask any older black person that's 50, 60, 70 years old. Go through the photo albums of your grandmothers and great-grandmothers. These women were feminine as shit. If you look at how black women were portrayed, even if you look at Good Times, even if you look at what you call it, 227, even if you look at what's the one with Weezy, the Jeffersons, what's happening? Yeah, the Cosby Show. No, our black women were acting like this, bro. It's once they started taking on the stress of trying to act like men by taking care of protecting and providing an entire household, that's when they started getting stressed out and started discipline, because they had to become the disciplinarians now. Our grandfathers and great uncles, those were the niggas that were those were the niggas that would make us go get a switch off the bush and whoop our ass with it. Our grandmothers and great grandmothers and our aunties weren't doing that shit, bro. So, and yeah, were black women a little more sassy and outspoken than the white women or the Hispanic? Yeah, but they weren't to the degree of what they are today, bro. So it doesn't come from slavery. It comes from the fact that they're donning this masculine persona that they're not evolutionarily fucking built for. They don't have that hard. I'm sorry, they don't have that evolutionary experience to take on that kind of stress of what a man takes on to bear an entire family and a household on his shoulders. So now what you have is you have a bunch of stressed out, erratic, emotionally exhausted women who are disciplining now out of frustration and anger instead of disciplining out of love. That's where that comes from.
And see,
That's what you
and
should
when you talk about stuff like
I
that,
see things.
Adrian, let's give him a chance to respond real quick, and then Adrian can go after. But go ahead, you get a fair chance to respond.
No, I was just saying if that's how you perceive that aspect of it, that's your viewpoint. I do agree with that, but I do feel that my stance is much stronger because what you said has actually only been. You can say that was appropriate for, let's say, Reconstruction period up till the 20s, but then after that, once we as a people have started to be able to provide for ourselves and acquire material possessions, I believe that because the black woman is very materialistic driven. Once this era starts coming to play, where we can start to interact with whites and shop at their so-called high-end goods, this is when the divide has happened. Because even then, during those times, and I'm talking about real-life examples, not really, let's say, portrayals of real-life television shows, because those are fictitious accounts, right? We've seen this in the divested movement as early as the 50s and the 60s. So, again, you have your stance, I have mine. Thank you for letting me talk. You know what I mean?
I'm glad the Adrian. Yeah, I'm glad the Adrian.
What's going on for you, Adrian? You got it, brother.
What's up, Sam? What's up, everybody?
the sisterhood. Y'all know what the sisterhood code is? When they don't hold themselves accountable, their sisters accountable for their bullshit behaviors. That sisterhood code here is fucking poisonous and is destructive. It's to the point now where I don't even know if the that sisterhood code rivals the police blue wall of silence. I don't even know which one is stronger at this point. The only time you will ever see women hold their sister accountable is when they have a falling out or some sort of disagreement, right? That is the only time you will see that happening. The sisterhood code, a lot of women will not go through it. They will not violate it because if they do, they get labeled pick-me's and pick-mishas and mammies and shit like that, right? And so for the women that do violate the sisterhood code and be like, nah, fuck that bullshit, I gotta call you hoes out, I applaud y'all. Because y'all get the most backlash and you get the most bullshit thrown your way by those that do not want to face accountability. Like Goddess, right? Goddess gets so much backlash from women on this fucking app, that shit is crazy. She even actually had a room talking about the unholy alliance or the irrational alliance between black women and the rainbow community. Right? Motherfuckers came in that damn room and was on 10 and was like, yo, what the fuck? Disagreed with everything that she said. Even though she was speaking facts, they disagreed. When black men hold black women accountable, guess what? You're a misogynist. You hate black women. Well, let's talk about that. Even if he does hate black women, he hates his mother. Why? And this is going to trigger a lot of people when I say this, but why does everyone assume that every black man was raised by a stellar black woman? A lot of people have ain't shit mothers out here that raised them. They don't never want to talk about that ain't shit mothers. Even if he does hate his mother, I'm pretty sure he probably have a very good reason as to why he hates his mother. Because maybe his mother was a piece of shit. You ever thought about that? Maybe his mother allowed her best friend to fuck him at 14 years old. Maybe his black mother did not put food in the house and left them starving for the whole fucking weekend while she went out and got them dropped in low. Right? Maybe, just maybe, she never attended any parent-teacher conferences or came to any of one of his sporting events. Just maybe. So even if he does hate black women or hates his mother, Maybe he has a very good fucking reason, right? Because a lot of men was raised off of toxic femininity. They talk about toxic masculinity to no end, ad nauseum, but they never want to talk about toxic femininity. Toxic femininity, what it looks like, is a mother telling her 9-year-old son, "Stop crying, quit being a pussy, quit being a girl." She's teaching him not to show emotion. So when he grows up to be a man, now these women they're wondering why they're in relationships with men that are emotionally unavailable. Well, that's because he was taught never to be emotional by his fucking mom to begin with. It's cyclical. Toxic
I want to
femininity
address something.
is cyclical than a motherfucker. And they never want to talk about that shit. But you know what? Let me stop cooking like a hibachi chef, flipping shrimp out my mouth and getting my grass.
I want to address America. Okay, I want to address America Jonesy when you mentioned about Good Times. You know that show was designed, I guess, around Esther Roll to be a single mother. She turned the role down. She said, "No, I'm not going to be a single mother." Out of her own mouth, said, "No, it's going to be a united black family. There will be no good times without her." She said, "No, I'm not going to do the single motherhood. Hell no. I want a husband." And that's when they got John Amos.
I didn't know that. I really appreciate you for expressing that, because that is one of my favorite shows to watch. I love Florida, and I do think that I think age bracket does have a thing to do with this. You know, my grandmother passed away at 95, and my mother passed away at 68, and I'm 35. So if you see the 30-year, you know, like it's right, 30 years, 60 to 90. Yeah, that's 30-year brackets in between, you know, give or take a few years. But I do think age gap between a mother, grandmother, and daughters does matter. And it's changing very drastically. If women who are ahead of me don't have the experience to show me what I'm supposed to and how I'm supposed to operate and move in a world of where men are the ones who move this shit. Like, respectfully, this is what the real fight is about too. Getting into male seats, getting into men's places and spaces, and wanting to see what men is doing. I don't really understand it. You know, Florida is a great depiction of doing what you're supposed to do and doing it when you're supposed to do it. Cause she ain't insert herself where she wasn't I guess asked to be present. You know what I'm saying? Like if Amos said, "I got this," he said, she backed down. Like I think the what do they call it, conflict resolution aspect that was shown in that show was very dynamic. But they're not sitting at home watching Good Times. They're watching Sexy Red on YouTube. You know, they're watching Shay Shay House. You know, they watching Megan Thee Stallion. They watching Love and Hip Hop, and now I need to go see what this Love Island thing is, because I don't have TV, and it's not because I can't afford one. I'm just not. I don't need to see what the fuck they do, because I'm not them. That's not my reality. I'm not bringing that shit into my house. I'm not bringing it to my reality. It's not my everyday, but I do see it happening because I have eyes to see, and I'm an observer. So all I'm saying is, like, whatever the fuck this new Love Island shit is, or whatever's going on, is you're gonna continue to spew this quote unquote reality TV. And as long as people have the reality TV in their reality, black men are gonna continue doing this movement of the wave of feminism, whatever the fuck is going on. So yeah, thank you for saying that.
I think what Katie said about her situation on the show is happening. But I'm highly critical of the depiction of her on the street, right in the show. I said, well, the evidence already the first black mothers on TV history, and here's why I say that. Florida Evans single-handedly kept them together. She, by herself, kept them together. Every time that the family had an opportunity to get the hell about the ghetto, she always had some type of pushback that resulted in staying in the ghetto in a two-bedroom apartment where both of her grown-ass sons on an itchy-ass sofa, right? All right, case in point. When JJ got a legit job just painting for Sugar Daddy, Sweet Daddy, right? Sweet just gonna pay JJ good money just to paint portraits, something JJ loved to do. She made JJ feel bad about accepting money from a parent, right? Even though it was honest living, JJ really wanted to paint and make money. She made JJ stop. Two, when James and them found money, when he found a bag full of money and brought it home, she made him return that shit. She made him feel bad about that episode. Yeah, she made him feel bad about finding some fucking money that no one was coming forward to claim. And that money could have been enough money to get their ass into a three-bedroom apartment. But Florida Evans, with her sanctimonious, self-righteous ass, made James feel bad and made him return. Three, when James got a new job, a good job paying him good fucking money, she made James feel bad about working at that goddamn job because it was taking up all of his hours and he wasn't at home. Do y'all know how James died?
Went to Alaska.
Yeah, do y'all know how James died? James died on the way back from his job, his good paying job, and died in a car accident. Yeah. Right? Which was some bullshit. Because why I say that's some bullshit? Because look what Florida Evans did afterwards. Right? The whole entire time. Remember when JJ painted Black Jesus and their fortune started to change? Because they had a Black Jesus hanging up in their home and they started getting good luck out of nowhere. Right? Florida Evans argued with Michael up and down. I like white Jesus.